Mom cat rescued while nurturing abandoned kittens isn't actually a mother at all. Rescuing cats from the streets is a pretty tough job. Some kittens born in this circumstance can become feral without human intervention at an early age. That's part of why it's so important that they are rescued while they are still small. When an abandoned basket of kittens was discovered on the side of the road, rescuers knew they needed help. They noticed another cat protecting them and figured it was the mother, so they brought her in too. However, what the vet revealed about this hovering mama cat left them all speechless. Whenever rescuers are called to the scene of an animal who is in need of their assistance, they must be prepared for practically anything to happen. The only guarantee volunteers have in their line of work is that they can always expect to find the unexpected. This is only heightened when there are multiple animals to save. That's exactly why the team at Homeless Animal Adoption League in Bloomfield, New Jersey sprung into action when they received this urgent call. Turns out, several kittens were abandoned in a laundry basket on the side of the road in a neighboring town of East Orange, and the rescuers knew they had no time to waste. Even though the organization didn't usually perform street rescues, they decided it would be best to take a look since the cats were close by. With multiple kittens at stake, they acted quickly. Sure enough, when they arrived at the scene, they found the basket sitting on the curb. What they didn't expect was what they discovered next. Inside of the basket, they identified a mother cat and her 6 teeny kittens. The rescuer said it was as if she recognized that they were there to help her and her family. Something in her expression made them feel that she knew she'd need help in order to survive her ordeal. Everyone was in complete awe of this feline's motherly intuition. The team quickly brought the little feline family back to the shelter, where they fed and washed them as soon as they could. Once that was done, it was time for a thorough examination. The veterinarian then gave the kittens their checkups to make sure they were all good in health. The next day, it was time for the mother cat's checkup. That's when things took a wild turn. As the veterinarian began to examine, he noticed something so bizarre that he had to tell the rest of the team right away. The sudden revelation was more than shocking to the staff. The mother of the litter was actually a male. The shelter worker speculated that he may have been the father or a brother cat from another litter, but there was no way of proving that at first glance. In fact, he could just as easily have been a random male who came across the little kittens and decided to keep them company. One thing was for certain, he wasn't a mother, but he was their mother figure. No matter his actual relationship to the kittens, the male cat stepped up into the role of surrogate mom with such a bloom that the shelter workers named him Mrs. Doubtfire. The name was fitting since he'd fulfilled both parental roles. Granted, chances are this cat was not disguising himself as an old British woman in order to spend more time with his children after a difficult divorce. Thankfully, Mrs. Doubtfire and his kitten family were determined to be in good health, meaning they will all be looking for new homes. Now that's a potentially happy ending worthy of being in a movie. Hopefully the kittens' future owners look after them the same way Mrs. Doubtfire did. He sure set an example that would make anyone proud. It's proof you don't have to be a biological mom to love like one. These kittens were certainly lucky. Cats as a species are usually not very social, and male cats in particular can be very aggressive and sometimes even violent with kittens. Let's just hope that these kittens are treated much better than their previous owner, and they find people who can provide them with loving forever homes too. No matter where these kittens do end up going, they are sure to be forever grateful to Mrs. Doubtfire, or really Mrs. Doubtfur. But even with this Mr. Mom's loving care, there is still something to say about a mother's touch. There's no bond quite like the one between a mother and her child. Dedicated mothers often make big sacrifices to take care of their young ones, even in the animal world. One nonprofit worker regularly saw this firsthand. To say Margie Morris is a cat lover would be a big understatement. That's why she made sure there were no crates or cages at Project Per Animal Rescue in Mobile, Alabama. This nonprofit director wanted a free-range home for her fur friends. Over 100 cats run free through the several suites of this strip mall-based rescue center. Each of them chow down on a few $1,000s worth of kibble and soil 200 pounds of cat litter as a unit, daily. To say Margie, back right, loved her rescue cats would be an understatement. But in her handling of hundreds of cats and adoptions, she rarely encountered anything quite like what she found in July. On a Thursday morning, Margie rolled into work only to find 2 cardboard boxes stacked on top of each other outside the front door of her office. On further inspection, they proved to be quite strange. Punched holes peppered the boxes, and someone had sloppily wrapped them with duct tape. Margie's stomach sank. She suspected she knew what was in those boxes. Margie and the shelter staff opened the top box and confirmed Margie's suspicions. Inside lay a mother cat alongside 2 orange kittens, both 5 weeks old. And in the second box, fearing the worst, Margie and her team opened the second box, and it was empty. Evidence suggested, however, that the box once held a cat who escaped her cardboard prison. This was a problem she would worry about later. In the meantime, cat-loving Margie had a clear and present problem: the mother cat and her kittens. She named the mother Caroline and the kittens Shiloh and Neil. Then she did what she did best and helped the cats out. Margie gave Caroline extra cat food with vitamins to bulk her up, and set up a little bed and a little kennel for her to keep Shiloh and Neil safe. Meanwhile, at the rescue, the kittens had the time of their lives. As small as they are, Margie, Wright, said, the kittens will play, and they're wrestling each other and jumping around, and they cuddle up next to the mom. She loves them, and she's taking very good care of them. But Caroline also had a secret. Even with 2 kittens to care for, Caroline was pregnant. Margie suspected she'd become pregnant shortly after birthing Shiloh and Neil, and that the new litter would be weeks away. But just a couple of days after her discovery, Caroline went into labor and delivered 4 more adorable kittens. But something didn't add up to Margie when she did the math. Given the timeline, there was no chance Shiloh and Neil were Caroline's true cats. She adopted the little tykes herself, taking a couple lonely kittens under her paw. Talk about a motherly instinct. But then, who was the true mother of Shiloh and Neil? Once again, Margie had her suspicions: the cat who escaped the empty cardboard box. And soon, coincidentally, a rescue worker spotted something curious outside. On Saturday morning, there was another cat spotted running around the parking lot of our little strip mall, Margie said. Myself and 3 team volunteers tried to catch her. She was getting up in the car engines, Margie said, and we couldn't catch her. It was pouring down rain. We tried to bribe her with food, but we were just unsuccessful. We're hoping she's still out there somewhere. It's unknown whether Project Per Animal Rescue ever caught the loose cat, and if she truly was the mother of Shiloh and Neil, but nevertheless, Margie knew Caroline had the kitten situation under control. See, Caroline could have escaped her cardboard box if she wanted. A desperate cat with sharp claws can do anything she puts her mind to. But she stayed with her adopted children and protected them. I'm just grateful that she didn't run away and leave the babies, Margie said. I think that might be the best thing I love about that cat. She did not leave those babies. She's the best mom ever. And with her 4 new kittens, Caroline still didn't shirk her responsibilities towards Shiloh and Neil. She took care of them and her new babies. She was the best thing to ever land on Project Per Animal Rescue's doorstep.